What up, good people? Welcome to the Herb Howard Show live from the big studios. My name is Herb Howard. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to this edition of the show. Greatly appreciate y'all being back. We've been gone for a minute. We'll get into that a little bit later towards the end of the show, but we are back right now, and we are back. And guess what? The Bears are 6-3, tied atop the NFC North with a pretty good opportunity to come up Monday morning and be first place all along as the Detroit Lions have to go to Philly to deal with that issue. We're going to get into that a little bit later as well. But let's talk about how these Bears got to this 6-3 record, what it means and what it could mean going forward. Bears started off 0-2. I heard Howard pronounce them dead right here in these studios on week 2 or week 3 of the Herb Howard Show after they were 0-2 in the division. Ben Johnson said, fool, you crazy, you out your mind. We're going to come back and handle our business. To their credit, they certainly did. They ripped off 4 in a row. They beat the Dallas Cowboys. They beat the New Orleans Saints. They beat who else they beat? They beat the Bengals. They beat the Giants. They beat a bunch of cats. They didn't win 6 out of their last 7 games. They only dropped 1 game to the Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens out in Baltimore, but they won 6 out of 7 since then. They are now 6-3. They ain't really beat nobody. I'm not going to front to you, man. They went out and got a decent win in Washington, so we thought, but Washington is huffed. Jaden Daniels has been injured and out. Their best win right now is probably the Cowboys, if I'm keeping it a buck with you. But you can only play who's in front of you. The schedule said those were the teams. The Bears went out there, took care of business. The only team that they played that is currently in the playoff picture are the Detroit Lions. That did not go well, but we moving on from that. Bears are 6-3 right now. They've been playing a brand of football that I just don't know is sustainable, right? They've been playing great football the last 5 minutes of games. Caleb Williams has been on some Superman hero type shit late in the games, bringing them back from double-digit leads to possession deficits and winning these games. Now, I don't know if they can do that when the schedule gets a little harder because it's about to get a little harder. You're going to get the Green Bay Packers twice. You still got to see Detroit again. You got to see Minnesota again. You got to deal with the Eagles. You got to deal with the 49ers. It's just not going to be as sweet as it has been. I'm not saying the Bears can't beat none of those teams because I really do think they can. I really do think they can beat every team left on their schedule. That being said, none of the teams left on their schedule, with the exception of the Cleveland Browns, will give them back a 10-point lead with 6 minutes to go in the fashion that the Giants just did. And the Giants had to do that. For the Giants to do that, the Bears had to knock out their starting quarterback rookie Jackson Dart and bring in old man Russ. Let's ride to come back on them. So you're not going to be able to come back from that type of deficit on the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin not going to go for that. The Packers not going to go for that. The Vikings even, who been struggling, been up and down this year, not going to go for that. Detroit definitely not going for that. So the Bears are going to have to play a more complete brand of football if they hope to use this 6-3 start, which is phenomenal through 9 games, and propel themselves into the postseason. They got 8 games left, all against pretty good contenders. Like I said, with the exception of the Browns, they're going to have to play a more complete brand of football. 4 quarters, all 3 phases. They have yet to do that. They've acknowledged that. Shout out to Coach Johnson. Shout out to all the players. They've acknowledged, listen, we ain't really put together a 60-minute football game. We haven't really played well all 3 phases to this point of the season. They're going to have to do that if they're going to be able to beat the teams that are left on their schedule. This hero ball that Caleb is playing late in games, not going to really work. These last-minute takeaways and not going to really work. We're going to have to play a full football game. I'm not saying the Bears aren't capable of it. I'm saying I simply have not seen it. And if the Bears play those teams the way they play some of these lesser teams, like the Raiders, like the Saints, it's not going to go so well for them. So Bears sit at 6-3. Good opportunity to be in first place when they wake up on Monday morning after the Detroit Lions play on Sunday night. And then the season will start. We will find out if the Bears are who they think they are, or if they are some lesser version than that. Again, welcome to the Herb Howard Show. Plenty to get into. We're going to get a sawbuck from my big bro, Eugene, going to join me over here on the chairs for a minute. We're going to go around the league, and I got a special edition of Buddy Ass Tweaking. It's the Herb Howard Show. We'll be right back.
Look, welcome to Plants on the Gridiron. It's Chicago's first and only plant-based tailgate. Here comes the. 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 Here co
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like, yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like. Bigger world, baby.
And here's what we love. It is Chicago's most unique event. We combine health, we combine sports, love of football, and you gotta bear down. Chicago Bears, baby.
To see the community coming together and just enjoying some really good plant-based food. There's people here that are meat eaters, there's people here that are fully plant-based, and we can come together as a community and just really have an impactful event.
Because we are Chicago homegrown. Come late, the food gonna be gone.
I am the Sumo, Morgan Park, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
This is Jason Kidd, and we're rocking with the Bigs.
I'm Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
What's up, y'all? This is Kyrie Irving, and you're tuned into the Bigs.
What's happening is Dame Lillard, a.k.a. Dame Dollar, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
What's up? This is D Rose, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
This is Mark Cuban, Dallas Mavericks. You're rocking with the Bigs.
Mike is hot.
What an idiot. Welcome back to the Herb Howard Show. We are live from the big studios, man. It's so good to be back with y'all. I ain't been here in a minute. We've been taking some time off. I will get into that a little bit towards the end of the show. But if you are new to the show, welcome. This is where we get together. We talk about all things Chicago Bears and the NFL, go around the league. Got a special segment called Buddy Ass Tweaking at the end of the show, but it is a Bears show, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all. As much work as I do on the Bears, and I'm at Hallis Hall all week, and I'm talking to the guys, and I'm in the locker room and all that, I get my stats from my main man, Shug. I got to give y'all some key stats from my main man, Shug, looking ahead to this particular Bears game. And listen, we already know Coach Flores, Brian Flores, is phenomenal in terms of how he puts together his defenses. Caleb Williams has said he's probably the most challenging defensive coordinator that he's faced in his young career. Coach Johnson has acknowledged how much of a headache it can be preparing for Coach Flores, although Coach Johnson has a pretty good record against Coach Flores going back to Coach Johnson's days in Detroit. Caleb himself is 0-3 against Coach Flores. Something has to give this week. So the Bears right now, second in the league in rushing offense. I got to shout out to Brad Biggs from the Tribune too. The Bears have rushed for 917 yards in the last 5 weeks. That's the first time in 40 years they've done that. I'm talking about going back to 1986 Walter Payton days. First time they've done that, except for the 2022 season when the Bears was trash, but they had JF1. The quarterback was getting all those rushing yards. So you put a little asterisk next to that because we're not talking about a traditional running game. We're just talking about Justin Fields running all over the field, getting busy on cats. But traditional run game, first time the Bears have put together those types of stats in any 5-game stretch in 40 years. That was not the case when the Bears played the Minnesota Vikings in week 1. They were not able to run the ball that way. That's going to be a huge factor in the Bears. 1, maintaining time of possession. 2, staying ahead of the chains and dealing with the crowd noise and trying to keep that crowd out of the game in Minnesota. Minnesota is my favorite stadium. It gets very loud. It gets very raucous. It is a huge home field advantage if they can get off and rolling against the Bears got to keep that thing under wraps for the entirety of the game. The running game is going to be key for that right now as they head into the game. Chicago got to get off to a fast start. They must avoid any type of slow starts. They got to protect Caleb against those exotic blitzes, those exotic pressures. Caleb has done well against those pressures for the most part this season, but they're going to have to continue to do that as this game goes on, because you better believe Coach Flores is going to be dialing it up, man. I got to go ahead and bring in my brother, the co-founder, one half of the founders of the Bigs. He is popping his stuff right now. It is IHSA state football playoffs right now, and the Caravan, the men of Dante, what they say, champions built on Dante?
The men of 6410.
6410. Don't they say champions built on Dante or something?
Champions are built on Dante. That came later.
Okay. Hey, whatever y'all want to call yourselves, man, I ain't got nothing but respect for the juggernaut that is and has been Mount Carmel. I see you got your jacket on, man. 1994.
It wasn't enough room for all my patches, man. I got more varsity letters. I got more, regional, sectional, super set. Don't have a state championship on here, so I could just shut up.
No, it's all good.
But I got a lot more patches that just, didn't fit. But yeah, I was feeling the vibe today. Felt like bringing that energy. And yeah, man, state championship number 17 loading Lincoln Way East tomorrow at MC, 4 o'clock start. I'm going to be in the building. I was going to ask you if you wanted to do some,
tomorrow,
some slight coverage over there.
It's a 4 o'clock start tomorrow?
4 o'clock.
They at MC?
At MC, Phil Seagrove. Shout out to Phil. I'm a phone call away. I'm plugged in as always.
Skip it. I'm down the slide.
They say if there's one team in Illinois that could beat Mount Carmel, it should be Lincoln Way East. Lincoln Way East. Belt to ass tomorrow. Sorry.
They finna get packed up?
Yep. Pack them on up. Send them back home.
Hey, this is my little, I'm from over east, so I grew up literally around the corner from Mount Carmel. I was gonna go there until first of all, I used to grow up seeing them walk through Jackson Park to go to practice, right? And I remember being a shorty, like 5, 6 years old, just starting to play my own little football. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, they come walking across the street, huge, and it's 7,000 of them, P. Like they marching across the street, holding bags, helmets, shoulder pads, all kind of stuff. And I'm stopped in the middle of the street in Jackson Park, like, what is this, man? I'm like, that's Mount Carmel football team. I'm like, what is Mount Carmel? I thought it was like a real mountain, because these mods look like real cavemen and mountaineers. They was huge.
And that was just the freshman team.
What? Probably.
Yeah, the freshman team went to practice at Jackson Park. The varsity team practiced on what is now Barbara Dowling Stadium, which used to be the practice field. Those were freshmen.
So as I got older, I realized that the varsity team practiced there, because I went to Bryn Mawr Elementary on 73rd and Jeffrey, and Mount Carmel always had a Christmas tournament for the grammar schools around there. For basketball. So we always played in the Christmas tournament for basketball there. One night we come out of there from our basketball game, and I walk out the door, and it's late, and all I hear, first of all you hear is like, maybe it was like a holiday tournament. It might have been around Thanksgiving. Christmas might have been too late. But I come out of there, and it's all you hear is and I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I'm just curious. I'll come walking around the building to see what it was. It's a football practice. It sounds like car crashes, Joe.
Yeah.
And they just in there teeing off on each other. I'm like, oh no, I ain't coming here. No, sir.
And they was doing 3-a-days. When we was playing,
man,
when I was there, when McNabb and Simeon and Ola Ali and all them guys were there, Matt Cushing, several NFL guys, they did 3-a-days, bro. They was there at 6 in the morning. They didn't leave until 5 in the evening.
Yeah, man. My brother was gonna go there. Shout out to my brother too, Ron. Happy birthday, man. It's his birthday today.
What up, Ron?
He was gonna go there to hoop, and then somebody, Cordell or somebody, got him to come visit with Young, and the girls changed all that.
Smart move.
That had something to do with me not going to Mount Carmel either, but it was also the car crashes I heard out there. I said, oh no, I'm not going to that kind of practice. That's what y'all do at practice?
Serious.
We talking about practice? Nah.
Not a game.
Not a game.
Not a game.
Y'all out here killing each other. No, thank you.
Yes,
so
sir.
shout out to MC, man. I hope y'all do good. Friars, shout out to Simeon too. My boy CQ Turner. They going down to East Saint to deal with them Friars. That's a juggernaut down there, East Saint. Obviously, Simeon is a juggernaut too. I'm definitely pulling for them Wolverines, man. But
100%.
Whew.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's get to business, man. It's been a minute. The Bears are now 6-3. First of all, what do you think about they 6-3?
If you would have told me 9 weeks ago that the Bears would be 6-3,
7 weeks ago when they was 0-2.
Yeah, when we basically put them in the graveyard and packed them on up.
We eulogized them. We did.
I'm with you, man. It's the same old saying. You say it every week. Coach Johnson says it every week. You never apologize for a win in the National Football League. It's hard enough to get them as they come.
It's hard to get them, but they're not all the same.
They're not all the same. So I do agree. 6-3 is great. But if these guys are the team that they think they are, they're definitely going to have to start putting 60 minutes together, like you said. Moving forward, these are teams that you're going to have to beat. None of these teams are going to lay down and roll over and die for you. So I'm looking forward to seeing the progression this week. You talked about Brian Flores in Minnesota and his defense. The Bears' running game has been on point these last few weeks. We got D Swift being able to hit the corners and get out there. We got Benunga kind of being more of a power back. So I'm interested to see how Flores schemes it up. I think he's going to try to cut those ends off so they can't get outside, and he's going to force everything in the middle. And you can call it a trap game all you want. Y'all can call J.J. McCarthy trash all you want. But like you said, what is it, U.S. Bank Stadium?
Yeah.
It ain't easy to go in there and get a win. So the Bears are going to have to play hard. Justin Jefferson is going to come out ready to play. And this is the start, man. These next 8 weeks, you got to get this win and build that momentum moving forward.
Now, you're 100% correct. I've been hearing the same reports about, Flores probably wanting to cut the Bears off in terms of their running game, getting out to the edge. That's going to impact not only DeAndre Swift, but also how they choose to go about rushing Caleb Williams and keep him in the pocket and try to make him beat you with his arm through the air. I don't know, man. I know this. Ben Johnson will be stubborn in his approach to stick to the run. The Bears could not run the ball early in the season, and to then ascend from that to being number 2 in the league, the way they've been running the ball, is not only is it a good thing, but it's indicative of his commitment to the run. It's also indicative of how well this newly put together offensive line has started to gel. They are playing phenomenal football right now. Yeah. Darnell Wright is playing some all-pro level right tackle right now. Jonah Jackson's playing really good at right guard. Drew Dahlman is holding it all together in the middle at center. Joe Tooney, who continues to be on his Hall of Fame trajectory type career, you don't hear anything about him.
At all, right?
You don't hear anything about him. And that's one of the best compliments you can give an offensive lineman. You just don't say nothing. Nobody talks to him. Nobody like, hey, let's go holler at Joe Tooney.
Man, I looked for him in the locker room this week. I'm like,
but you probably might have been standing right next to him.
There it was.
Because he like a puppy walking on cotton. You don't even notice him there, right? You don't notice him in the locker room. You don't notice him in the game. He just go about his business. What you don't see is people coming up that left side A gap, B gap, and getting pressure in the interior like that. He's also doing a phenomenal job at helping bring along second-year undrafted Canadian football player Theo Benedette on the left tackle, who's been doing well enough, right? That you're not constantly calling his name for getting beat and getting penalties. He had a couple rough games, whatever. But since he's been in there, he's been a part of an offensive line that has been stabilized and keeping things rolling. So that being said, I know the Bears will continue to run the football.
Right.
The numbers will be there. The attempts will be there. We'll see. Maybe the average yards per carry not as high, but they'll stick to it because that's how they get to their play action game. That's how they get to a lot of the trick plays that we see from Ben Johnson. So he's going to stay committed to that run game no matter what. He has to.
Man, but before we continue on to look forward to Minnesota, I was thinking about something on my way up here to the studio. You got those dope interviews with this weekend.
Yeah, we did, man.
CJ
Gardner-Johnson. Shout out to DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, and Montez.
And DeAndre Swift, yeah. But what my favorite interaction of the day was the one with you and Jonathan Owens that the people didn't get to see.
Shout out to J.O., man. Hey, congratulations on the crib, too. Him and his wife, Simone Biles, they finally finished the crib they was building and buying. And
Where is
I only seen some of the pictures of. I don't know where it is. I need to ask him that because I don't think it's like this is his second year here. I feel like they would have been building it a little longer than that, but I don't know. So I don't know where it is, but I seen some pictures of it and it's dope. So congratulations to y'all on finishing that, Jo. Jo is my man's though, but what about it?
No, it was just good. It was wicked to see the interaction. It was more about the interaction than what you guys were actually talking about.
Yeah.
And because you were asking in the booth why was Tremaine Edmonds wasn't on the field in that clutch situation and they left Noah Sewell out.
Yeah.
So you went in there and you asked Jo about it. And like I said, it really wasn't about what he said. It was about the interaction and just seeing how you guys interacted with each other. And I just know that interaction doesn't happen with any other media person in that locker room except you. So shout out to you. Shout out to Jo for always being stand up and always giving us time, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the guys, man. They always cool. They always chop it up, and we just get to have different types of conversations. That's organic. That's just
it ain't always about a quote, man.
Nah, it ain't always about a quote. You know what I mean? Jo said a bunch of stuff in that conversation that could have ran to a headline or.
Man, I caught myself listening.
Just me and him having the conversation.
Yeah, man. I was very impressed. I'm like, he's like, man, this is just I'm giving you a little bit of inside information.
Yeah, a bit of a debate. But shout out to Jo, man. That is a concern of mine though. They've been pulling Tremaine Edmonds when they go single linebacker. They go to this kind of jumbo-ish type package, and they've done it, on short yardage or goal line situations. But it's not a knock on Noah Sewell. I like what Noah Sewell brings, and Jo saying how he's able to get downhill and make plays like that. I just think that if you're gonna leave one linebacker on the field between Noah and Tremaine, I would expect it to be Tremaine. It's been Noah, but shout out to DA, Coach Dennis Allen. That's his decision. He's doing what he's doing. What about this passing game, man? You get into what Caleb is doing or not doing, and whether he's doing it early or late, how the ball's getting spread around or not being spread around. DJ Moore is 0 catches. I think Cole Kmet has like 5 catches on the year. I don't know. That might be, but like trying to get everybody involved. OZ had a rough day against the Giants. Shout out to Olamide, but he had a rough day against the Giants with the drops. How you feel about this passing game right now?
It's only one pill, man. It's only one pigskin out there, man. You got a bunch of different weapons, guys that bring different aspects to the game. I love to see Luther Burden gaining the respect of the coach.
Speaking of East Saint.
Man, Joe, gaining the respect, being more useful. Not saying that he needs to take some of those OZ targets. Maybe he does. But I love to see the growth of Luther Burden. Caleb is always going to look for Rome. We know that's the thing. He's a big target. Yeah. Rome, he's still growing. It's only his second year. Give him some grace. Let him grow. DJ, you guys' interaction in the locker room said a lot. DJ is kind of tight. He doesn't get the pill. But, hey, man, long as everybody's winning, he's able to move some guys out the way to let some of those guys do their thing. But Caleb Williams. The one thing I've noticed about Caleb, like you said, with the game on the line, he comes through and gets the job done. Now, whether he needs to do it earlier or not.
Iceman, I'm start calling his ass George Gervin.
The Iceman, Joe, he got that ice in his veins, man. You got the game on the line, give him the ball and let him do him. That's what I think is most impressive about him is that when he's able to freestyle and kind of just do him.
And you're not thinking.
He excels. But when it's about staying in the pocket, when it's about the play and when it's about the quarterback, I think that's when he faces he faces the most problem. But I'll give it to him, man. If they keep it close at the end and you put that ball in his hands, he's gonna lead those guys to a drive. Hopefully it doesn't lead up to a Cairo Santos field goal, but give him credit, man. I know you were on his heels a little bit last week, so I'm interested to know your take on this passing game.
Yeah, I wasn't really on his heels per se. I'm on the Bears' heels as a collective. I put out a tweet that said, man, you don't get a ton of credit
was on your heels,
for putting out a fire that you started. You start the fire, then you go run and get the water hose like you the hero.
Herb, if that was Justin Fields, you would be saying something totally different.
Of course, they gonna go Justin Fields all the time.
Did you see Justin Fields last?
I did.
Okay, but yeah, go ahead.
But don't do.
No, I'm not. I love Justin Fields.
They have
All the
zero
Jets I
wide
track.
receivers.
Did y'all the dress I tear?
He put one over the shoulder in the bucket. My man dropped that.
God.
He put one right here. My man dropped that.
Yeah.
The Jets trash. But either way, the Bears as a whole, not Caleb Williams. I didn't say nothing about Caleb Williams. Right. So he was they go running about, you don't like Caleb. I ain't said shit about Caleb. You know what I mean? But people go run and do what they do. But it's cool. You know what? Me and the Bears fans, we don't do the same thing, right? The Bears fans, they wake up on Sunday to have fun and hope their favorite team or favorite player wins the game. I have to analyze a full football team and see what this means conceptually and objectively. And that's what I do. So we don't do the same thing. Right. So, you could be excited as heck that they won the game. I'm like, yeah, look at this. This ain't going to work against this as the schedule turns, right? So that was more of the perspective I was taking. I'm encouraged by what Caleb does late because I think he does that when he's not thinking, when he's out there playing ball, which leads me to believe once he gets more comfortable in Ben Johnson's system, once he gets into year 2 in this system, year 3 in this system, it's when he's no longer thinking about it. He's out there balling. These are the types of things you're going to see for more of a 4-quarter game than just the last couple of minutes. Same thing with his teammates when they're not thinking through route concepts and I got to get to this point and they just out there playing ball and they got a better chemistry. That's going to be when this thing is really, really exciting because they're young. Colston Loveland will be here. Rome will be here. Luther Burden will be here. DJ still got years on his contract. We'll find out about OZ and Kokeman and all that. But those young guys will still be here growing in this offense. And so, once they all stop thinking what it looks like now in the last, 5 minutes of the game, that's what it could look like for the first 55 minutes of this game.
Right.
I don't know what that's going to mean for this particular season. But you got to be encouraged by it nonetheless. I
think at the end of the Caleb conversation, I just think his feet and his mind have to align.
Mandatory. You let your feet and your eyes be married and let that dictate where the ball goes.
100%.
Let that dictate where the ball goes. And if he can do that at a consistent level without thinking through it, he's going to be just fine. Give me a prediction before we wrap up this extended sawbuck.
Bears 20, Vikings 10.
Low scoring affair, says Gino. 20-10 for the Bears. I also think it's going to be a low scoring affair too. I got a ton of respect for Brian Flores and what he does with that defense. And I know that J.J. McCarthy has still been up and down in terms of what they can do offensively for the Vikings. So I think also a low scoring affair, maybe not quite that low. I'm thinking like 23-16 will be the final. I think the Bears pull it out, get themselves to 7-3. And then coming up next, when we go around the league, we're going to talk about the Lions going to the Eagles, and we'll see if I think the Bears will be in first place come Monday morning. But you got the Bears 20-10?
Got the Bears 20-10, man. 7-3. Let's get it.
7-3 from 0-2. We both got the Bears walking into U.S. Bank and walking out with a dub. Walk into your trap tape. Go with your trap. This trap belongs to the Bigs. My name is Herb Howard. Shout out to the mighty Caravan. Champions built on Dante. Good luck to MC, man. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we are around the league. Shout out to MC, man. I see y'all doing y'all thing.
We
bro.
are MC, man. All right.
I am the Sumo, Morgan Park, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
This is Jason Kidd, and we're rocking with the Bigs.
I'm Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
What's up, y'all? This is Kyrie Irving. You're tuned into the Bigs.
What's happening is Dame Lillard, a.k.a. Dame Dollar, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
What's up? This is D Rose, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
This is Mark Cuban, Dallas Mavericks. You're rocking with the Bigs.
it is a slate of games scheduled for week 11 in the National Football League. Let's hop around the league and see some of my favorites that I'm going to have my eye on certainly all weekend. Let's start out in Western New York. The Buffalo Bills will be hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, different conferences, but two teams with aspirations to reach their conference finals and maybe represent their conference in the Super Bowl. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by one Baker Mayfield, take their talents to Buffalo to go up against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Should be a really, really good game. You got strength against strength, two veteran quarterbacks leading their offenses down the field. I don't know what the weather's going to be like right now in Buffalo this weekend, but that could impact those Florida boys coming up to Buffalo and try to deal with it. I think the Bills will pull it off in a close one. My eye is on it because we're starting to get into seeding for the playoffs. The Bucs are one of those teams that are going to be in the seeding conversation for the playoffs. The Bears are going to be one of those teams in the conversation for seeding in the playoffs. So I got my eye on that one. I do got the Bills pulling that out, which would help the Chicago Bears. Bengals at Steelers. Not a huge game on paper. You look at it, it is an AFC North rivalry game, but the Bears did just play the Bengals a couple of weeks ago, and they play the Steelers next week. So I want to see what the Steelers are looking like as they get ready to come to Soldier Field next week. How do they deal with the Bengals as opposed to how the Bears dealt with the Bengals is why I'm interested to see what happens in that game. It is at Pittsburgh. I expect the Steelers to win and come to Chicago with a win in their back pocket. Moving on to the NFC West. Huge game. The Seattle Seahawks will be traveling down to LA to face the Rams, two 7-2 football teams, not only fighting for first place atop the NFC West, but we talking about, again, who can be number one seed in the NFC conference as a whole in the playoff picture. This is going to be a really, really good game. The Seahawks are playing really, really good football. Shout out to Sam Darnold, man. Shout out to KOC, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, who the Bears got to deal with this week. He revitalized that man, extended his career, got him paid a ton of money, and Sam Darnold is off and running. We know he got drafted by the Jets as a high first-round pick. It did not work out. Went to San Francisco, took a bit of a year off, then found himself in Minnesota, lit the league on fire last year, and they got some big money from Seattle. He is returning on that investment for the Seahawks. They're playing really, really good ball right now. They go down to the Rams. I don't know who I'm going to pick in that game. It's going to be real, real good. I will take the Seahawks. I think their defense is just a little bit better than that Rams defense right now. I'll take the Seahawks going to the Rams. And I also think that 12th man from Seattle will travel well. There is no home field advantage in LA. It's just too many transplants. The teams have moved around too much. If you got one of those fan bases that travel, which the Seahawks do, you can definitely walk in their trap and take over their trap. I got the Seahawks winning a close game at SoFi. AFC West. Defending AFC champions, Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Mile High Stadium to face the Denver Broncos, who are playing really, really good football. Listen, the Chiefs right now, I think they are 5-4. If they go 5-5, not only are we talking about, okay, you can cancel Christmas on them having some home field advantage in the playoffs, but you're starting to wonder, are they going to be a playoff team with some of these other teams that are playing really, really well in the AFC? Will they be fighting for one of those wild card? They'll definitely be fighting for a wild card spot if they lose to the Broncos, because the Broncos will be taking over that AFC West. But you also got the Chargers, you got the Steelers out there going to win they division, you got the Baltimore Ravens trying to pull up, so you got the Patriots and the Bills out in the East. It's not really sweet like that. So the Chiefs really, really need this game. That being said, I don't think they get it. I just don't believe that they are that nice. Now, they do got Superman. If 15 go all 15 and pull off the victory in Mount High, then they be sitting 6-4, and I'll be right back here next week telling you how the Chiefs finna go on another Super Bowl run. But if they don't, if Bo Nix and them boys handle the business, it could spell the end of an era for the Kansas City Chiefs. I am taking the Broncos in that one in a shootout. I'm going to go 38-35 Broncos, Mile High Stadium. This is the big one for the Bears. Lions, Detroit, going out to Philly Shout out to both of those cities too, by the way. But the Lions going to Philly to face the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are 7-2. Lions are 6-3, tied with the Bears atop the NFC North. If the Eagles walk away victorious and the Bears can take care of business in Minnesota, the Bears wake up on Monday morning all alone, number one in the NFC North. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Listen, say whatever you want to say about the Eagles. Say they offense is trash. Say they played terrible against the Packers and pulled out 10-7 on Monday Night Football. They got a short week coming in. They can't get A.J. Brown going. He disgruntled. He this, that. They're the Super Bowl champs. They're the Super Bowl champs. And they got more talent than any other team in the National Football League. Has it all come together this year? No, not really. A little bit of a Super Bowl hangover, maybe. But if your hangover look like 7-2 and you get to host the Detroit Lions at your crib, I'm leaning towards the Eagles, man. I think it'll be a good game. I don't expect it to be a super high-scoring affair. I'm taking the Eagles 24-21 at the link in Philly. Bears, handle business, man. Y'all take my predictions. We'll be in first place waking up on Monday morning. That is the games around the league that I have my eye on for this particular week. Let me know what y'all think about the picks. Let me know what y'all think. If y'all think I missed the game that y'all got y'all eye on, I don't think I did. But that's around the league for this week, man. I got to take one more break. When we come back, got a very special and important edition of Buddy Ass Tweaking. Somebody tweaked real hard. Damn near checked up out of here. Gonna find out who that is on the other side of this break. Welcome back to the Herb Howard Show, live from inside the big studios. It is that time of week where I find somebody that was super egregious in one way or the other and describe their behavior as, simply put, buddy ass tweaking. This week, Buddy is me. I am him. I am tweaking. We haven't had a chance to do the Herb Howard Show, and this is why. I almost checked out of here, man. And I don't mean out the hotel. I don't mean off the show. I mean off the planet. I have been terrible at taking care of myself, not going to the doctor, not eating right, not getting enough rest, a lot of stress, over drinking. I'm encouraging all of y'all, especially men, make sure that you are getting to the doctor, get regular checkups, find out what's going on with yourself. I know as men, between our ego and also our fear, we don't really go to the doctor. Our ego tells us, I'm good, I'm cool, I'm straight, I can handle all this, everything going well, I'm gonna be all right. And then our fear really, because we live like that for so long, like, I don't even want to go find out what's wrong with me. I knew something wasn't right for me. Something wasn't right with me for at least 2 months. But I was just, telling my people, like, I don't really feel right about this. I don't really feel right about that. I remember walking into the Herb and Two podcast and telling the team over there, like, man, I think I almost died last night. I couldn't catch my breath while I was trying to go to sleep. I would lay down and literally just couldn't catch my breath while I was laying down, violently coughing for 25 minutes. And this happened a couple times. I had a few of these episodes. I also found myself being extremely short of breath with minimal physical exertion. But I was just putting it all to the side. Again, the ego, but also the fear. And finally, it came to a head, man. I was on my way to Baltimore to cover the Bears game. I was at O'Hare Airport getting ready to fly out, and a string of kind of unworldly events kind of put themselves together for me to not make my initial flight. That was between me and my brother Terrence. Just shit was going wrong that I couldn't get on my flight for that Saturday night. And so I came back and I was just going to go early first thing Sunday morning, go to the stadium, had plenty of time to do it. As I'm getting through the airport at O'Hare, man, I just can't catch my breath. I'm just trying to get to my gate. I'm trying to scurry along, get to my gate, and I'm extremely short of breath. Now, I know, as a former athlete and what I am now, I'm not in great shape. So I'm like, a little shortness of breath, cool. But this wasn't a little shortness of breath from kind of run. This was, I cannot breathe. I feel dizzy. I feel faint. I'm leaning up on the wall. So I just didn't get on the flight. Called Terrence, let him know what was going on. Go to the hospital, check in the hospital, man, my blood pressure is 220 over 152. Now, if that don't mean nothing to you, like it didn't mean much to me, except I knew it was insanely high. You want to be somewhere around 120, 130 for that top number, and mine was 220. So I asked the nurse and me, I was like, is that insane? And she looked at me like, yeah, that's super, super crazy. Anyway, they immediately admitted me. I was in the hospital for about 4 or 5 days. They ran a litany of tests on me. They told me I had congestive heart failure. I had some severe damage to my kidney. The doctor walked me through all these things after all these tests, and they did every test you can think of, EKGs, echocardio exams, they did x-rays, they did everything. Shout out to the whole medical team for being so thorough. I truly, truly appreciate it. I did not want to be there at all. I was ready to go home every single day, but they were monitoring me, and the doctor was telling me, man, I can tell by the results of these tests and the damage that's been done to your heart and your kidney that you've been living with this extremely high blood pressure for at least 2 years. And it was funny because, funny to me, everybody said it ain't funny, but it was funny to me because they was looking at me like I was some type of medical marvel, like I shouldn't have been standing. Like, how are you standing here having this conversation with your levels this high? It was like the doctor told me that his last 10 stroke patients, my levels were higher than all of theirs. Say I was walking around like a ticking time bomb. It's not a matter of if, but certainly when I would either have a stroke or a heart attack due to my levels. I had some heart level, and I'm not going to pretend to be a medical professional and tell you which level or what it do. All I know is they told me it was supposed to be 99 in a healthy person for my age, and mine was 622. My kidney function, which they say is supposed to be between 1 and 1.5, mine was at 2.9. They said at 5.0 you start the dialysis. They told me that he was like, you should have extreme headaches. You should have extreme headaches all the time. You should be dizzy. You should have blurred vision. You don't have none of that. I'm like, no, I don't have none of that. I get up, I do my thing every day. I drive up to Hallis Hall. Lake Forest an hour away, drive an hour back. I handle my business. I do everything I'm supposed to do. I don't really feel none of that. And the doctor was telling me, well, you are the most dangerous of patients that we have because you're asymptomatic. It's like these levels should come with extreme symptoms to let you know that it's 5 alarm time in your body right now. I didn't really know none of that. Point is, man, I'm grateful that I finally went. Shout out to my partners for encouraging me to finally go. Shout out to my friends, my family, my brothers in the bigs. Y'all been amazing through the process. Everybody's making sure I'm good. Nobody was pressuring me to get back to work except me. The day they let me out, the next day, I'm like, okay, we back to work. We finna go to the studio. I think they let me out on a Thursday. So it was like, okay, Friday morning, we back to it. I'm telling everybody we good. I wake up Friday morning, just starting to move around and get dressed, extremely exhausted, extremely fatigued, feeling terrible. And so Gene, T, P, they all like, nah, bro, ain't no show happening. You know what I mean? We got to get you right first. And I'm very, very grateful. Shout out to Sadiq. Shout out to brother Sadiq, Plant-Based African Center for Nutrition. He's my nutritionist that I really, really needed to get a plan together to get back, get my levels back right. Everything is going in the right direction. I still got a ways to go. It's going to take a lot of discipline. Shout out to the bigs for stepping up. Like, man, whatever it's going to cost to get you right. For the nutritionists, we got all that covered, man. I'm just grateful for my village, my family, for showing love, for pouring into me, for being supportive. I'm grateful for the wake-up call, and I just feel like it's my responsibility and my duty to encourage everybody else to just check in with yourself. Find out what's going on. Even if you feel okay or that little thing that ain't been feeling right, you've been kind of putting off for a while, don't put it off, man, because it could have been anything. I could have got on that plane that day, had a stroke, had a heart attack. I could have had a stroke any day I'm driving up to Lake Forest. Any of these things, man. The levels I had was crazy. And so I'm grateful that they're coming back down. I'm doing everything I need to do, make a much healthier decision. So I'm going to be fine. I'm straight on that. But the wake-up call was necessary. It was very, very serious. And again, I'm grateful to the medical staff that kind of walked me back down to some livable levels when I was walking on the edge. And that's not no exaggeration. I mean, like I said, I felt fine, so I wasn't really tripping about it. But the levels were what they were, and the doctor said what they said. So I'm back good. Continue to take care of myself. The Herb Howard Show is back running. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. But for sure, for at least 2 years, this buddy right here has been tweaking. Catch y'all for another live show on Tuesday. Hopefully for the first place Bears. Shout out to P.I. doing all of the hard work behind the camera. Shout out to the boss man, Terrence Tomlin. You ain't even been yelling at us that much today, and I'm grateful for that, man. It's keeping my blood pressure low. Shout out to Gene for giving me a salt buck and for being Gene. Shout out to y'all for tuning in, man. Please make sure you like, leave a comment, and share the show with at least one person that you think would enjoy talking football and talking Bears with us, man. This has been the Herb Howard Show. I am Herb Howard. Y'all be good to each other. Peace.